Munyamfo Michael Kwesi Edu a wojina mu ema eye oforukrom abatom pedima Youth Employment Agency wono nso akasa ede afa eye Islamic education hom sane ebeye na mpanifo betimi aso asene ama womo enya Arabic akyerɛkyerɛfo bebre ewo oman mu firi sɛ de eye nkremosom ne sitete ye mabunu no ewo sɛ womo entete no etimi dɔso sane ebeye beboa Ghana nkasa afoforo pi eka ho ene anigide mu nsɛm na nwumrei yɛde ne nyinaa eba abeso mo na bohyeba electricals na asomasene nwumrei eba no eye gate light ceiling light led light ene enyinama hoden ho niema bi a wohia de asiesie ofie sɛ eye hotel eye restaurant eye pub anase studio kra na wo set a wohia light ene cameras ne nyinama kanfo bohyeba electricals na ede amount ye wo solar standing fan nso so wa ha eno de ensuo mo awiemo eda ho na eye adwuma fan no betimi abokama kama emfa ho ene dumso ya abayi ye wo standing fan ahodo bebre nso a eno nso so eyisu USB wo betimi de pen drive shem abonnom ye wo fan nketo anso betimi de bi akura wo betimi de bi nso asan dan ho de adi wudwuma afeba no waya nso a ye wo 1.5 mm 2.5 mm afe 10 mm enyama ne de dos ne enigisem abohyeba de abakra ne sesa wo frɛ ya homa na wo kyerɛkyerɛ niema wo hia nyina titiru sɛ wo bɔ ukɔ eye TikTok na wo bɔ bosheba.electricals shema wo bon se ye showroom ne beba nya daage na tenase ne hwehwemu yi de wankasa wo pɛ wo kyerɛkyerɛ yen na wo frɛ yen na wo sande usika nko abade a ye bekyekiri ne nyina akufu emfa ho ne Ghana ha bebi a wo bia ye de bebra wo ewo waboboa no wo mpɛ wei na wo pɛdean ya tena ye no eye miensa ye wo adum eye abrosan kese na ani kejeti adwa no edi nhwɛ ne mu no bosheba electricals ewo honom sanso so na antiata akofo abrosan ne mu wadum yanso yebutu hon ma yedi adwuma na yatena yakese no yebo eye adum prisons runabout ne so hwa udu habon se abrosan mumuntum na ewo hono obi kra nka nche se aha ne bohyeba electricals se de eye nhwehwe ne si twagu na light ahodo no etwagu no wankasa ubehunu se enye agudie na yedi wa ha frɛ yen ewo ahoman so 0322 030838 0322 030838 and I say 0536 095966 0536 095966 and you may me amedeka say e baba som no edi amejeswa aye nana adisi pokua ahwenne osamufo nso so eye owura Emmanuel Odro Korea afei yembonra kasie ne mu minority leader ewo mrashebedwamu ena nei what or sorry ye ena no kasa na wo hwe a sede eye ensem bebre esi ekoso efa eye ye mabuna wo mo dodo na wo fie no mu ni dwumadi no mo ne na bankyere na kyese areho ankasa ne no ena ye maame Patricia Piejei a wonu kure adansa nso egina musem rashebedwane de ma eye asokwa abatom pesia so sorry no seresem ekwanya eye yamabunu esi titifie no ahomete na emra Ghana mampanyine His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ebontoa no wokan se woba wode dwumadie bi egu akwan ma ye friend se dwumawura a eno eba beboa pa mamabunu dodo na etimi anya dwuma ye nenso so as woba ye akoyehwebuada yenten ho asem se de esi ekobia ne no enam eye domkuma ne ba no dani abedi ekire ye maame Patricia kasa wie ye no ena dom kase no ba no dani so ekeka ensem bi edefa ho na moma yenkotie ya maame Patricia said you sika ensem no fa
partisan cooperation to treat youth unemployment as a national security priority. Then we'll look at the public sector reforms and service delivery. We'll handle education, delayed feeding grants in certain secondary schools, and persistent shortages of teaching materials undermine quality education. Health. While a medical trust fund was created, fundamental issues, NHIS arrears, and occasional drug shortages in public facilities have not been resolved. The minority welcomes genuine efforts to cut waste but cautions that reforms so far appear too slow and largely cosmetics. Then we look at the taxes and revenue. Ghanaians are taxed enough. The minority reiterates its firm position. No new taxes on an already burdened citizenry. That is what we are fighting for. It must be placed on record that the NDC, while in opposition, vehemently opposed certain taxes, yet has introduced its own levies in government. A glaring contradiction.
Onimonyamfo Patricia Apia Jamra Shebedwani a wogina moma amanfo a womo asokwa abato mpasua sonka ene ete ye no na nanu si ye no na minority leader Yera Mahama Ayarega nso ekasai majority leader Yera Mahama Ayarega ekasai ya ono nso so ne nsem no sei netie.
You couldn't really show one factory that was created under one D1F. Ultimately, what we saw was that you went and picked existing factories. If they were collapsing under your watch. You went and picked existing factories and said you were giving them 1D, 1F, which was a bailout. But you see, in spite of that, the factory still collapsed because they came under the weight of huge interest rates. They couldn't even get money from the banks to borrow because you were borrowing all the money from the banks. And then the interest rates were so high and inflation was so high. So at the end of the day, the businesses couldn't compete. So traders resorted to smuggling and the borders are porous, so a lot was coming in. A lot of the factories shut down and they moved to Ivory Coast. A lot of the factories started producing far, far below their capacity, which then meant that they had to retrench existing, workforce. And so it compounded the situation. If you ask factory owners, they will tell you that the greatest incentive is not a 1D, 1F, package. The best incentive is make sure interest rates.
Majority leader Onimonyamfo Mahama Ayarega nensem ena etwagu ye no na ye borwemu ewo oforukrom abato mpasua so Onimonyamfo Michael Kwesi Edu ena gina musemra Shebedwani edema wo mo na wono nso akasa a wo kan wo se sede wukoye nkura nkuma animu a wo mo eni ayaresabea ewo honom na chip compound mpanyimfo timi esisi bi edema wo mo nso obekono na chese nurse ni ba akopενeti ho afidi a ye check eye ni BP a ebi ni ho afidi a yede check yede ye Johnson test a ebi ni ho de yede check weight kura mpo no ebi mpo eni ho nti opemfo bi ba se wo ba beje eye awomu nimde anase wo ba behwe se de ne ba no ho sitie ana wono amumpo apomoden ho nsem esitie a na chese akoye boachi bidin enu gina so ma ye maame mo ye hwe ye maame mo bebre titiru emra wo mo ekọ awoso ne no ene wo srese Kebeya and Penyufo and Kabi
of this country. I'm referring to the CHIPS compound system. So, Speaker, if we are paying more attention to the CHIP compound system, it will solve this problem of preeclampsia, because most women, especially those in the rural areas, do not get access to antenatal care and antenatal services. And quite interestingly, by the time they even move from where they stay to the healthcare center, whatever would have happened. So, Speaker, we need to invest more in our health system, especially in our communities, by making sure that we train community health service providers so that they can check some of these things. For instance, a pregnant woman going for antenatal, the least she can have is at least get her BP monitored, her urine protein checked, and all these things, so that at least we know that we are safeguarding our women. We are putting up a defense mechanism as a first step to checking preeclampsia. Quite recently, I had the opportunity to visit most of the CHIP compounds in my constituency. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that in Oforukrum, where we will say is quite urbanized, we have only 4 chip compounds, 300,000 poplates. We have an Agenda 111 situated in the constituency to serve the constituency, which is at 95% complete, but as at now has not been operationalized.
Onimonyamfo Michael KaseƐ eye mrahye edema amanfo a womo ofurukrom abato mpasia so ne nsem na etwagu ye no na ye wramu ewo eye Youth Employment Nsusu Agency CEO a wono eneda no eye Malik Basantali na wono nso akasa de adesre ekode ama womo eka bi womo woman mu se wosre womo ada emranso se womutime eso akyerɛkyerɛfo a womo ekire eye Arabic no asene wose wo mododo no musa na yehwe nkremo som na na se yehwe zongo communities ahodo na emofra wo ho no modoso pa ne mmabu na wo ho no modoso na se yenya kyerɛkyerɛfo dodo a wo mo betimi akyerɛ wo mo ade a eno ebetimi aboa ama yetimi ahyepo mofra no titiri wo musuban ekwan yesese wo mo fa so nimdie eye enwuma ne ade ne nyina betimi aboa ema zongo communities ne nyina etimi atumpon.
Of our brothers and sisters we are losing gradually through drug abuse and all these things, especially in our zongos where I come from. It is because Arabic instructors those days are no longer encouraged to do more, to inculcate the values of responsibility in our brothers and sisters. So we are gradually losing them to all manner of things, true or false. And so my brothers and sisters, let us continue to dedicate our time, let us sacrifice our time to continue in our brothers and sisters in the Zongos so that we are able to bring everybody back on stage. And we will fight this drug menace, we will fight all these little issues in our Zongos and everywhere. And together, I'm sure we'll be proud.
Ora Malik Basantali de Sansen wenyina atudwa e won kran pumpuni mantemu eye Kanda Central Mosque womra eye Arabic Education Unit wo muhia ya wo mode nhyiamudie bi ehyehye eso onimonyamfo Eric Esibe eye abankrachi panyine ewo kwada so abato mpasua so ene wono nso akasa ene wo hye yinua ma sabin prediasan wo mo edidem ewo mu ni padua mu se mo mate bia omo mu no entime embre o mase mo ma eno no enka wo mo enhye biaye bi na mo mfa botaye bi ensi wo mani so nyankopon wo botaye nti a wodi obi bia ba wiase enti de chimato bia ewo wu ni padua mu no emma eno ensi wo ho kwan say wo be pre akwa wanim ewo dwumadie anase adomachede nyankopon ede ama wo no ho wo de sansem we nyina atudwa wo mra na eye okogina mu ma Dr. Frank Amwakohene eye Ashanti Regional Minister wo mra na 2026 Ghana Wheelchair Softball Association Clinic and of international tournament no omopa ehon ntoma ase
chess 1 Adequacy University se wo be wie se sabio wato chimakakra school fees untuyebio. Back in our assemblies now from our common fund sika na yede maye no money given to the disability people with disability was only 2%. By his grace the president of Ghana John Dramani Mahama has increased it from 2% to 5%, over 100% increase. I don't see that there will be on making sure say open register or assembly no just go and register with the assembly machine and I will pay you better amount abobo ya and I will pay you better amount fridge and I will pay with the tones so you better amount send it for the boss wa you chim enti emene ko na nim no quarterly sika bia bebe bia no na ye e the amount assembly bi over na dream so de nsa ebeka PWD sika no aban no efen che no awo kwan bia aso I don't think lesremo na mo nyi mo ho fi bia mo say ye be kwan no awo be say Debbie we cherish you are like us enyemu a na ke bia nyuma bebre ho park ye nya nipa nye papa two for the papa asem your share at the kodwom no e obi o mo ne masters o e no te akonwam e no ye ma no and now president no pese mutu anamon enye de bia no be hwe make adwuma enye de bia no mo be ye adwuma e ye nsa no adwuma mun kanta vim mun ko school no na e free na mo so muntimi meye ministers e wo oman no ye de ye wo homa mo flagship program say a national apprenticeship program go and register. You will be considered first. Say yeah and kokwan ketenkete go and register. Say yeah youth in agriculture go and register. You will be considered first.
Onimonyamfo Eric Esibe nsem no ono na ya ban krachi panyine e wo kwada so abato mpesua so na nanu si ya na pe na ewra Nimo Elizabeth Emmanuel a wono na ye kyerɛkyerɛfo edema National Wheelchair Softball Association wono nso ejina akonya yisodi adesre eto eye aban na afe ankrankran no wo mo nsem wo bi se wo mu hia mo apa eye
ahodo Ghana ha ye ne ye ba besia kan na ya hwɛ sɛ hwan na kruwa na esia kan sie ne so no obefa ntie na dwumadie no pate ene sɛ wheelchair softball na ye be no clinic any tournament e Ghana ai me pa show ye start ye no ye first international tournament no ye ko no Japan na ye Tokyo City e ho no ye konkoden e ma ye place second ye wie ye no na ye besen e ko American so ye nuanom ekonkoden eno so ye side place seconds but last 2 years ye besen ko Nigeria aye Africa ha e hono de ye bomoden age ye kruwa no ewo ye nsem bekande na ye bomoden se World Series eba so August yi no ye san ye no America ye bompa ye this time round no emrofo na omo kyerɛ no ye betumi agye kruwa no de fi omasem abagana pacho how aye wo no de financial obia ndi ho a opese wo de disabled for ensem to nanimu a opese sum apart from enkrofo kakra bia me yom bunia ye da omo ed belt abom yem say ensu to ewie bo say from a ombeba no omo de yom si chen na so dodo na wo de wade sere common chance bia bibi say e koso na mo so emu a obeji wa no ho ba na so mma ye hwe Ghana programs ahodo aye ya enye individual bia de sika ye say beauty pageant a enkofo ba bontin ebesom na so eba situations bi sese ya won say obia eye den e twetwe na ho enti de hia de di kan no eye financial afi de toso eye moral support.
Ewra Nimo Elizabeth Emmanuel nsem na etwagu ye no yeda so agina sante mantan mu ha na ye bo ewra mu ewo eye amanse South Mansini ne mu amanfo a wo mo ewo ho na ne wo mo de omade sre ekode amagana education service ayetwa ne tia from say GES nse wo mo sre wo mada wo mu hia kyerɛkyerɛfo pa wo mpotamu ho enti se posting bi eba wo mo hwɛ se akyerɛkyerɛfo mo do wo mo beto mpotamu ho nom no edoso pa ye na afenso no omu entimi wasane be ya adekire ho nsem ebetimi awie mu die ne no na wonimonyamfo Peter Awre a wono na ye presiding member edema Amansia South Mansini no ekasa ya wo kire se mpo bia ya akyerɛkyerɛfo yi ba wo mo beda no aya na eden na efiewrafo no nsusu hu se akyerɛkyerɛfo mu firi aban omo ya aban adwumanti atwamenebo bia ya na omo de ma omo na ya na ahomete pa
onyamode amame use eye Amansia South District na say Manson Dubia constituency education more challenges bebre na ne di kan pa accommodation ya dia teachers for no more if it's a serious problem said the million no dey kan ya no how for your mining community eti ama bibia boyden and the teachers for so ye name said the omo bibia sitie omo ntimi compete is abana amebo omo NCC bungalows ni bi ama wo ma the better and the teachers for Biano in here. GHS and primary teachers for almost 70% at the transfer. Now we also say Omoko Yonsono, you be replacing. It's last 2 weeks, Krana, education pending for crack petition. And as a request to choir say recruitment of more be a more fee amongst South. But ye quack play, Omo de Bebano, now accommodation, that's also a problem. The best yɛn pɛ sɛ ɔmbɛba na ɔmbɛkɔ ɔmɔgye transfer nti aban no ɛmoa ɔmo accommodation 2 yɛ kwan no nso ɛyɛ ade a da biara no ɛyɛ na asefam ahaba no ɛyɛ pa titiri ɔmo a ɔmo apɔmuden no ɛhyɛ da ɛnni hɔ papa no kwan no nyɛ koraa nti mɛsrɛ sɛ aban no nyɛ mmoa na yɛ kwan so yɛsu ho akyɛ ɔmo ɛmɛboa yɛn yɛtɔ so biem ɛno koraa deɛ nansɛ yɛnim baabi ɛfiri network problem ɛnɛ network atekɔ ɔkyena says yɛnim what is really the problem is ti yɛbɛsrɛ aban no ne MTN ne telesofo enkasa eto good year I'm told say ɛyɛ bibi a kakra na ɔmo enema ɛwɔ ha no mehwɛ ne yie ma yɛ because ɛyɛ too many intimi network intimi nyina so even 1 week kura wa bra entinko nti challenges in there ɛyɛ bebre na we ne ade ɛyɛ critical pa ɛwɔ sɛ aban no ɛbɛyɛ yɛmmoa
Onimonyamfo Peter Are ena woye presiding member ewo Amansie South mensini mu nensem ena etwagu ye no na Alhaji Osman eye vice chairman edema NDC eye party na wo monkrabata ewo Amansie West mensini mu Santemantam mu heya en wo sere se eye ide ada fahye ya empanyimfo ede akwakɔhye eye mebusumanyi mu ne da etoso aduonu enso afim eye 2026 mu ano obia nhwe se wode ne ho ebehye mu bi efri se saa mra no mu na se yebeka ya ye papa prophet Abraham wotimi agina asobo afode konkono edema nyankopon a ene wanya nhira bebre ntikramoni bia nhwe se saa dwumadie kase ya eba so obi bia de ne ho behyem no wayere ne ho adi amanmunyam ahye awrade na afenso wahwe ho ahyira wo bia
so wo bi kwa I say, idea Yankopon Ashishato. So, Abraham na oni sika or diboto try cry or diboba for you. Yankopon a castle on find the bar and from boa for your man. Ojitu, a de bano, a got 2 1 or boa for you. I'll go try the bannerman at the amount Yankopon. And the Yankopon I did drive free the soy at the brand. And the Sabokasamu, our Bible, our Quran. Ena odi sawo dwan sacrifice emanya nti enu na ya hye no so afi bia ogide ni bia no ense wo bo afore emanya nti we afore bo ena ye bo nti wo bi na obetima akom na 2000 kura na adoye ena wo de mama yafo because so tinikum aboa na de owo nchen wa anya bia nkono na otimi mani bi na saa dare ne nkwan hwama nyankopon wa manyame abode krano abana nti nyankopon be shawma na wa hira obebre because ade a ehye edibai se so uti brono so na nyame ato nsa komunantwie na obi aga bewe na saa da no enye krabahwe na nyankopon so emfa ne to
Alhaji Osman eye vice chairman edema NDC amenyoku no wo eye Amansie West mensini mu nensem na etwagu ye no na ye bwawremu ewo enigidie mu nsemu na oba so no tuntum se oyuo Christabel upon Daisy the Agaspa baby. What's me champe Chris.
Aso.
Nani amamuti say.
Ya me adom na so e.
Adom na ni kra mu nyina. Manem kwai enwumrede na ade man.
Ahwenie me da se na chese de aduru so no no ana ahwenie abone tofa no na chese ye koni straight dia. Ya papa ya de nyina director 1 Jackson K Bentu modern sembia babetu dwa wo say. So we yesini twani na so wuji wo hutum so we yesini twani nko ade asa oye oba asa oye bema ro bia ye de bema obia wo so wutimi ye na wo ye ni ye
making art to say o besim na obe amroba that doesn't mean say o amroba and as bia yo ba na ba na ka say prostitute that doesn't mean say we are prostitute end of the day no ye de kire say wo fa kwan we su a say na beto and as we so for kran na ka say kupra amroba end of the day no o pure amroba na end of the day say na to no nti the example a kire obi nti ro de ma osini mu no as a good actor ro bi be so ye so we wa say bia me van say me de go nkwa na me sofo na say me ba sofo nti me play obi a just sofo ru and as me de me mpe ade a me ya e bia me ya no film no your casting director on na ehun se nipa smesi we no betima Ti me script wi a me metimi ehwe obi so cry script we from this azonto gusta me hwe lemon so na me de story me na me chere ndo be nyesa wo ba wo be kan do because I script at wo ba me na me chere de wo ye na me pa me ka se da bi eni nti so ba sense wa wonim zizi itwa bebre ne yi bi de me pe na wo ye nti na film by ti ka se film by John Wu na se film by Jackson Kebentum film de me pe na me ye
na chese se ye di robi mawa eno ntrese sa na wusuban ankasa tenti wo ya na wahwehwe na waye ni yie na osan to aso se so pese obeye sini twani a fa kwan pana ankasa so na kokko hu director or da sini twana no na one ne nkokasa
na mo so etuni se so approach good people because sometimes no ye ngofo bro ha omo na say directors ni din obi obetimi akoju musical na see but so no obi na obetimi na wa adwuma so hwemi na hwe directors omo e ha ni ade na say be this because obetimi akoju abeju sika ye ngofo bro omo ko enkrase be no makoji go musical no da say directors ni say wo person ye ata na so person actress na say we crew member e so head right way na offer na hwe director me fence wo adwuma be o record na ade so fitia na do sika komo bia
okay obi
Way Jackson Kebentum director 1 no ntino wa pese we sini twani no ya mo pese mu twasini am kwanam konko directors na nkasa enfefe fan chenchen mo bi nkonko che wonya wonya do especially so your ba no na ye to aso ni ya nua ba shila de ode me ma me aha Mother's Day na nyum na ye di celebrate no ne ho asem na making ni ebisa ne say Nigerians and Ghanaian musicians no wa munyo mpa na kwa animu no kire mu say Nigerians ndi omukọ omanim pa eye
beginning no now some of the Nigerian artists omoba Ghana any top artists A-list artists be collaborate and sa kwa no omonyuma kwa say make a Burna Boy and Shatawale Hosanna they came together to do it. Bena, if we are Nigerian, it was happening so many times. This man, maybe you fine, but at a point in time, I realized I don't know whether they are branding here and Nigeria for the question idea, bro. So, since I mean, KaseÄ, can't get to see TikTok until any new school to say, "Oh, leave the boy," or more Afrobeat. You can say we are picking. And then we are not picking in our own. Say Nigeria ni be ma ni traditional beat, no de kakraka home. Na yeah with it. We are not doing that. I'm hoping say me and yeah felt to say be her life. Kwame Eugene was trying. He did one. Let me not say try. He be man rise him over so far there. Okay, just that the Nigerians are ahead. Omo unko machi, omo komeni, omo ko America ni other international.
Okay, who feel said Diana could do something
first of all, no.
Way shila di ode me mami and say or say who fa me mo miss me mami aha nti ohima esta sa wa onim se miss wana papa Gaspar say miss wo ho mo nchemfa wo fie ho na say nwumre me chia me ame wo fa wo fa pia ba ko pe me chia wo pa na che say aha na mre be ma ye kwan ma ye de ni je de mu nsam na si na me ame de ba ye me Christabel upon Daisy a Gaspar baby. I hear so my
a Gaspar baby. Kasiano esi osamufo owura Emmanuel Odro Korea Junior amwaten so eka ho bi na ono nso ekurichire bibia gu nkrata so edemaye nene de obetimi tina fidie yachi abon white na fe wo chinchim afidie no fruma abobo AI voices ni nyina ma yen no honorable ba ko pe Richmond Frimpong adwumawura enono akuafo chefa aha enti anwumre KaseÄ no asi Emmanuel Odro Korea na samu me nso amegye mre ebebi ni nyina de ma mo no me edin amegye so aye nana Adisipokia ahwenne me sorry see de na chese akuafo chefa honorable ote hodada enche bia